All right, so unit one assignment is Flix. In this app, we're going to be building an app we call Flix, and Flix is an app that fetches info about movies. You can browse them, you get info from them about them, and it's similar to Rotten Tomatoes. We're going to have us watch a small video from CodePath about this Flix app.
Hey, in this video, I'm going to introduce you to the project that we're going to do this week, which is this Movies app. And before I do, I just wanted to kind of provide a little bit of context and background for this app, the other apps that we're building, as well as how to succeed in this class. So, first, in iOS, iOS compared to web is really interesting because iOS, if you think about the apps that you have, so like look at Facebook, Airbnb, Twitter, Yelp, IMDb, your mail app, and start to kind of like compare and contrast them, you may realize that these apps have a lot of similarities with each other. It's not like the web where they can have like huge variance in how the web is designed. Mobile design is a lot more constrained. So, for example, I'm sure you've seen things like this many times where you have a scrolling list of items. In fact, most mobile screens are some form of a scrolling item. So, the way that we've chosen to teach this class is that we don't lecture on Swift or a design pattern or iOS. Instead, what we do is we've carefully designed these projects to kind of slowly escalate. And the features within these projects, if you kind of add them all up together, can be used to build many, many different types of applications. And so you'll see this kind of theme throughout where we'll use this an app as a driving force for learning, and then that will trigger concepts that you will need to study. So, for example, elements of using the Swift programming language or elements of iOS, but they're always going to be anchored in some task that you need to complete. And so, in this week, the task is to work with this scrolling list, which is called a table view. In iOS, there's two major views that are used to implement things like this. One's called a table view, which we're going to cover this week, and next week is the collection view. So one tip is, I don't expect that you know Swift already. In fact, 99.9% of you don't know Swift. Maybe you do know some programming language though. So you probably know Python or Java or maybe C++ a little bit. So I expect you've taken a beginner's class in that, at least. And so the thing is that you're going to see a lot of things that you don't understand. Import UI kit, at UI application main. What do all of these words mean? And so one task is that I'm going to guide you through what you can kind of ignore for now and what's the learning goal for a particular week. So you'll have to kind of take a leap of faith each week and squint your eyes past certain things and really focus on things that we're trying to cover at that moment, and just trust us that it'll all kind of add together over the next several weeks. And so for this week, we're really going to focus on what are the kind of steps involved in creating this scrolling view. And so now some tips to succeed in this class are, so one, if you look at this, if I scroll through here, there's not a lot of code to create this. So this is the bulk of it right here. And so this is not a huge project. And in fact, it's kind of cool to see how powerful iOS is and how you can create so much with relatively little. And so now that you kind of know the scope of it, the first tip is, if you're new to engineering, I've been doing engineering for 15 years, and it's pretty common to get stuck on something for like 6 hours and you found out and oh my gosh, it was this missing exclamation point. So it's a very common thing. And that's something that, you will have to, do as part of your career. Every engineer, trust me, goes through that. However, in the context of this class, it's a little bit of you want to use our time really effectively here. So we're going to want to skim through a lot of stuff. And so if you're stuck in a pothole for 6 hours, it's really character building and you'll learn some engineering fundamentals, but we're not going to, go through this class very efficiently. And so what we've done is we have the kind of secret of this class is we have this project-based learning coupled with a lot of support. And so the thing is that if you get stuck, get stuck and don't work on it for more than 30 minutes before you come over here and either hit up the class in Slack or post in the discussion system where we have TAs kind of monitoring this. Now, they may take 24 hours to get back to you, although hopefully faster, generally speaking. And so you'll want to work on it early, get stuck, immediately post, and maybe even go work on something else or go work on another class and then come back to it, right? So you don't want to get stuck for too long in this class. So the second thing is that you'll notice that the required features are generally pretty light each week. And that's just to give you the general gist. And so what you really want to do if you're interested in learning iOS is really try to tackle those bonus features. So those bonus features are really where you continue to accrue experience in iOS. So that's it. And that's so the focus this week is just to do this simple table view, this scrolling list view, and the next few videos are going to walk you through that.
All right, so that's the beginning of the instructional walkthrough videos, and there's gonna be a playlist of them. There's where the engineers are going to take you through step by step, pretty much like every line of code. You're just gonna be following them along, like pause it and type up whatever was on screen, and then if I was having issues, I didn't do something right, then I would go and ask for help in the Slack channel. We also have a discussion board that we're gonna be checking out too. Oh, and if you guys are, once you complete the core requirements, y'all should also try some of the bonus features. All right, so here is the course portal. If you guys don't have the link, I'll put it in our Slack channel, and I'll also put it in this chat here in a bit. So we just need to make sure that we are submitting by our deadline. So if you click on this assignments tab, you'll see here in yellow, it's a little bit cut off right here, but it'll give you the time that is due. Thank you, Eric, for posting that. Okay. So here we have, yeah, so this is going to be where our instructional walkthrough videos are. Let me see what's happening here. Oh, my bad. Skip to that kind of quick. So when you click on unit 1, you'll go to assignment, and you'll see here's where you can submit. You can submit again if, like, when they grade it, you didn't get the, when they graded you didn't get the grade they wanted, something was missing from it. That's gonna eat up though your 48-hour, one of your 48-hour late submissions. If you just follow that little GIF down there, just to make it exactly like theirs, it should be good to go though. The deadlines, you can always remember it as the midnight before the first session of the next week. So like yesterday, midnight, if there was one due this week. But we do have one due every week, starting from now on. All right, as far as getting help, you're not alone. Use the CodePath community, the Slack channel, and the discussion forum. And I believe we're gonna go through the discussion forum here in a bit. Actually, let me exit out of here, and there's a link to the discussion forum. Okay, we're gonna check that out actually here in a second. Let's watch this video first.
Hello students, my name is Abel Bunam. I am a tech fellow from CSUMB. Today I'll be going through a quick demo on how to open up Slack, go to unit specific channels and ask questions tagging out yourself. First off, it's highly recommended that you get the desktop application because you get the notifications directly from Slack even when you stop using the application. The application also feels a lot smoother when you're using the desktop application, but the browser can be an alternative if you're working on a non-personal computer. Once you open up the Slack application, you want to look at the top left to make sure you're in the CodePath workspace. And then you want to go through the channels to make sure you're in the channel that matches the unit you are in, the semester you're on, and the year. So the iOS Unit 2 Spring 2021 matches the exact unit, and Spring 2021 is the year and semester that I'm in. So in this channel, we can go ahead and post our question. And the first thing you want to do when you post your question is tag iOS help. When you tag iOS help, it notifies like all the TAs, and then the TA can attend to you as fast as possible. So you tag iOS help and you paste your question. Most questions require screenshots, and it's really recommended that you add screenshots. So you add your screenshots into your questions or into your question, right? You add your screenshots. Let me just drag this in. You add your screenshot, and then you can go ahead and post your question. And once you post your question, you can immediately get a response from the CodePath bot to know if your question was actually posted to the TAs. And click on the reply, and you should see, hi, Ebuka, thanks for posting it. The iOS TAs will reply to your message here sometime soon. So this is the response you should be looking for once you post your question with iOS help. If you post your question without the iOS help and you don't get this response, you can directly message either any of the TAs or the gurus to figure out what's going on. It could be that your Slack account is not properly integrated with the bot, but yeah, everything should go smoothly once you get to this point. The TA should be able to respond to you within 20 minutes or less. And if not, you can go ahead and repost your question. Once the TA claims your question, you should see a reply to the thread from the CodePath bot telling you that the TA is working on the response right here. In about 5 minutes or less, the TA will respond to you and you can continue the conversation until a solution is reached. The TA sometimes can't reach a solution immediately and will ask you to hop on a Zoom call with them. If your schedule permits it, hop on a Zoom call, else you can reschedule with the TA or repost the question and wait for another TA to answer. The TAs might ask you follow-up questions and suggestions to try out in order to find your own solution to a problem. When a solution is reached, please send a thank you message showing the problem was solved. Otherwise, the TA will have to follow up asking you if it worked or not. In this case, Will sent a message, and I replied telling him that my solution worked and with a thank you. And now he knows, this solution works and this whole question is closed. Hey guys, so we've been looking at what a good question or a bad question can be. So let's take a look at this question. Hi, I followed all the steps in the tutorial for my collection view layout, and I seem to have an issue with the UI collection view not displaying my poster views correctly. This question is a good question because it explains the problem to the TA. It also has screenshots attached to give more context about the problem. The TA can look at this question with screenshots as reference and converse with the students about solutions. The next example is of a bad question. Can someone help me? This question does not give context to what the problem is. The question asks for help, but the TAs are always here to help us, so there's no need to explicitly ask for help. This type of question will only take longer to be solved because the TAs will have to go through the process of creating the proper question with the students before answering the question. If for some reason you run into a situation where you don't know what the problem is and don't know how to describe it, try going back to the previous tasks that you've completed and talking about those. This can help give the TAs more context and better help you understand where you're going next in order to find the solution.
All right. Just want to talk about the course portal a little bit more. So really, this is where you're going to do pretty much everything. You can see what's going on for the week. You can access lectures and demo videos, work through app assignments, access help forms, and actually submit your assignments. And I think next, we're actually going to check out the discussion forum on the course portal.
Hello, students. My name is Ava.
All right. I have a link to that. Let me go. We got Nagato's in the meeting. All right. I have a link to this. I'm gonna post real quick. So I'm gonna just quickly. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, so I'm gonna post this into our chat. So I didn't really use this too much. Eric, did you use this discussion forum when you were training as a tech fellow or when you took the class as a student?
I also mostly use Slack because Slack is a very instant messaging system. So many times when I use Slack, I was able to get a response within 1 minute. So I believe that using Slack is the fastest and most convenient way. But if you, I guess, have the time, or if you're not comfortable with having Zoom meetings and you prefer to have a comprehensive answer from a TA, you can also use this process.
So you can see that some people are using it. I would say that there's probably more activity in the actual Slack. But if you wanted to, you could search through here, you could post a question, you could answer other students' questions if you want. You just click here, you could post a note, give your title, your content, make sure it's visible to all members. Yeah, I'd be interested to check this out. Looks like it's been used quite a lot, but recently, past couple ones, it's been like 2 in the past day or so. So our policy reminder. So we do have to hold everyone accountable. CodePath has found that students are the most successful when they are regularly attending class and submitting their assignments on time. So we have 3 48-hour extensions, no questions asked. If you don't submit something, it's automatically granted, and you have 48 hours to do it. So you don't need to email anybody, you don't need to ask us. Just go ahead and submit it. But you can only get one per assignment. And try not to use them all up really early, because as you start getting into December and midterms and finals, and you just want to make sure that you save those for when you really need them. So if you use all 3 extensions, you receive the grade for whatever state your project is at the deadline. So if you've only submitted like 70% of it, then you get a 70. If you just submit nothing, you just get a 0. So just recap of the things we went over. I know it's kind of quick, but the course portal, I think you guys should definitely check that out. Just kind of explore through it. Go to the assignments tab to get your actual assignment. So the assignments tab is actually different from the lab. The assignment is what's due, and the lab is just kind of optional. So the next step that we're gonna do is actually just spend the next hour or so, which will bring us right to almost 7:30. It's just working on the first one. So go to your course portal, courses.codepath.com, assignments for unit 1, and start following the tutorial walkthrough videos. And me and Eric are going to be here to help you guys. And also feel free to use the Slack channel to get some help. So, the Slack, I think is due was the 23rd. I can't remember, by midnight. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. And we are here if you guys need any help.
So Isaac, what did you say the deadline for this assignment will be?
Let me double check. Let me stop my share.
It should be next Tuesday midnight, because our assignments will always be due by midnight before the next lecture.
Yeah, so it's due on the 21st at 11:59.
All right, so right now, everybody could just go to courses.codepath.com and under Unit 1 and go to the assignment tab, and then you'll be able to get started on the first assignment. Isaac, do you want to share screen and kind of demonstrate how to go there in case some people have trouble with that?
Sure. So here I've gone to courses.codepath.org. I have clicked on Unit 1 on the left side, and it'll bring you to this overview, which you could check out about what we're going to be building. It goes over the assignment and the actual lab. And then you go to this tab up here called Assignments. Here's where you're going to see your due date, September 21st, 11:59 Central Time. Here's our submit button. This is where you post the link to your GitHub. your GIF URL, which it'll show you how to make one, hour spent, any notes, and oh, this is a little bit new. This wasn't here when we did it. These boxes down here have marked features implemented with my README file. Yeah, just cool. Okay, this is not something we did last time. So we'll scroll down, read the plan of attack, and here, click these arrows, and here's your playlist of videos. So for example, this first one is 5.5 minutes. I think that's the one that we watched earlier, actually. Goes up Xcode overviews, and then here is where you're gonna actually start typing up some code and making like your icon for Flix. So, do you guys have any questions, or is anyone having any trouble finding this?
If not, then everyone can just go ahead, starting from the Xcode overview and get started on the project. First, get familiar with the environment Xcode, and you can get started on building the project. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, direct message, or just unmute and ask anytime.
I'll notify you guys as we get close to the time of class ending, and we'll just make sure we wrap everything up.